Hey, what's up, you guys? You're listening to Alaskan National News. I'm Henry,
I'm Miles.
and Kaylin couldn't be with us tonight.
Kaylin's dead to us at the moment.
Exactly.
Kaylin has a drinking problem, and Kaylin's dead to us at the moment.
Kaylin's always been dead to us. She's like Bruce Lee. Oh, wait, what's the name?
What?
From the one with the big twist, the only good Shyamalan movie. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Sixth Sense. He's been dead this whole time.
Okay, yeah. So Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. There we go. Bruce Lee. Anyways, we want to apologize for being off the air the last couple of weeks.
We don't fucking give a shit.
This is Halloween. This is supposed to be the Halloween episode. 6 days after Halloween.
Yeah.
I can't even keep track anymore. I was actually going to do this by myself, but it got really sad. Kaylin and Miles are both like doing their own thing, so I almost thought about doing it by myself, but I just couldn't find the motivation after doing it, getting too stoned. But yeah, we're back. We're going to try to have more regularly, frequently up-to-date content, but once again, that's very doubtful. Our next episode, we're going to discuss how we can improve ourselves for the podcast. That'll be on the next episode. For this episode, we have a metal marathon for music. Okay. Can you please put in some effort?
Okay.
Also, our show may go on a little bit longer than usual. We have an extra special long story. The last couple of episodes, we've kind of teased people. We've only gotten to like third base with them. Like we were just on the jacking off. We weren't. No, we got to the second.
Do you know
base.
what third base is?
We actually got to second base. I'd say.
Second's
tit touching, right?
Second is any touching. Third base is anything with mouth.
No, are you fucking? No, it's tit touching is second. Then hand job is third.
Where is blowjob?
Blowjob is considered, I think, part of fourth base.
No,
it's just
no
the beginning.
Way.
It's at the shortstop
no
end.
Way.
It's first base is kissing. So first base is just kissing. Second base is touching anything, like using your hands to touch anything.
No,
yes, it is. And then third base is putting your mouth on anything.
Hand job is definitely before any of that. Well, anyways,
yes, a hand job is second base.
Well, anyways, we realized the last couple of episodes that we've been only kind of like jerking you guys off, but not really finishing you off. Like we only start kind of a story, and then Miles gets lazy and doesn't want to finish it.
Okay.
So this time we're actually going to finish our story no matter fucking what. It doesn't matter if it takes us till 2 a.m. We got you guys. We love you, and we respect our. I think we're down to like 4 subscribers. I'm pretty sure more than half of the people on our SoundCloud unsubscribed, but we love you anyways. Anyways, so for the first post-Halloween discussion, I was going to talk about my personal favorite subgenre of movies of all time, which are slasher movies.
Okay, let's do it.
No, just those like really shitty ones from the 70s and 80s have always fascinated me just because of their weird aesthetic. And also, this is like the first time where movies could release stuff with like actual violence in it. And they just kind of went crazy and just did like the shittiest effects. So I fucking love that so much. So here's my best. I like all the other classics like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, but I didn't include them. But I did include like one kind of more legendary one. I like them. I just have ones that fit more into my aesthetic. I fucking hate that word so much. It's so pretentious. The word aesthetic. I just feel like it's super pretentious.
I think it is overused.
It is definitely overused, but it kind of describes my interest like a lot. I base them a lot on aesthetic rather than actual interest.
But aesthetic is like you have to follow up aesthetic with something else. Like you have to have the aesthetic of something. You can't just be like, oh.
Well, it's not like a lifestyle though. I feel like if it just incorporates into a certain mood I'm feeling, like I.
Yeah, no. So what is your aesthetic right now?
Like
sadness.
No, like vintage horror movies. It kind of like represents like the American dream and how it's an impossible death. It's so deep. So number 5 is one that's not really that well known. I don't think people really consider it a slasher anyways. I think they consider it more of just like a crime film or something. But my number 5 is definitely The Town That Dread Sundown. There's so many just memorable scenes. There's like a scene where this is supposed to take place in like the 40s, like right after World War II. And there's just like one scene where everyone's just fucking praying at a prom. Like they end the prom and they just sit there or stand there and pray.
Was there like a horrifying thing that happened?
No, actually, wait. Oh yeah, actually, 2 people did die the day before. But also another thing. But 2 fucking kids. They go to the woods to make out, and the guy overpowers them both and ends up like stabbing the girl with her fucking trumpet. Like he played.
How do you physically stab someone?
Like he touches a knife and then just like goes back and forth and like
stabs her to death.
Yeah, it wasn't a trumpet actually. What was it called?
Trombone.
Trombone. Yeah, it's a fucking trombone. So that's number 5. Number 4 is probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
That one actually like still scares the shit out of me. Just because there's. Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't.
There's just like so much screaming and.
I know the story behind it, but I've never actually seen it.
Ed Gein. No, yeah, it's just a fucking amazing one, and it's pretty much one of the few that like are actually like super entertained throughout. Number 3 is Memorial Valley Massacre. It's just like a caveman and. Mostly just like there's so many weird fucking characters. Like they include like a black biker gang. Or no, there's only like a black couple in a biker gang. Like they have like one like really fat kid. He's in like his 30s, but he's supposed to play like a 15-year-old, and he's just like really fat and just like takes on like a motor vehicle and just like goes to the fucking park and like gets killed right away.
What?
It's just a weird fucking movie. I don't know, but I love it. Number 2 is Silent Night, Deadly Night. That one's, I feel like, within, like, slasher movie. You know that one scene, the garbage day scene.
I don't know. I've never seen this.
Well, that was in the sequel, though. But it's just, like, a guy dresses up as Santa. He was, like, abused. Or he saw his family get murdered. That's right. By Santa. So he becomes Santa. Please stop.
By Santa?
By, like, a guy dressed as Santa. So then he just, like, does a bunch of weird shit. Oh, there's like one scene where he stabs a girl like by putting her on like antlers on like one in like a living room.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's a definite favorite. And that one used to be my number 1 until I found this one, which is My Bloody Valentine. You've definitely heard of that.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, they made a reboot of it a couple years ago. I heard it actually didn't do too bad, but yeah, this the original one just fucking fascinates me. Just like there's one scene where a lady just gets shoved into a dryer and she just comes out and she's like covered in blood and like it looks like her insides got turned inside out.
What is of all the scary movies you've seen? What would you say is like the most goriest death scene? Or like,
goriest? Ooh.
Maybe not even like with just blood, but you looked at it and you're like, holy shit, I don't know if I can watch this.
Well, that one fucking show that you showed me, it's like still has me fucked up.
Oh, the hentai.
The hentai.
Bondage Wars.
Bondage Games.
Bondage Games. Yeah.
No, there's a.
You're pussy. That one gets so much fucking worse.
I know it does. That's why I'm not going any further.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like torture porn's one thing, but torture hentai is like a whole other realm. Like
you have to.
They make fucked up shit and that stuff.
I'm trying to think the gory scene. I don't watch that many gory movies. Honestly, I like more.
I have my top 2. I know my top 2, but none of them are really slashers. Like
slashers. Well, what's yours? I can't think of anything.
Okay, my first one that comes to mind is in Human Centipede 2.
Oh yeah,
or maybe it's Human
was
Centipede.
that they chop off a dude's balls in that one, right?
I do not have I don't have it in me to watch the entirety of any Human Centipede movies. I've only seen like snippets and clippets of it, but I remember there's a one scene in I think it's the second Human Centipede where this woman finally escapes. She's pregnant, right? And she escapes the facility and she's trying to run away. And in the light of her horror, she gives birth. And when she gives birth, the exact moment that she finds a van. And she gets into the van, and then once she sits into the driver's seat of the van, she immediately gives birth. But she's trying to run away, and she's kind of terrified. So after giving birth, she immediately just slams on the gas and like guns it. And when she slams on the gas, her foot like hits her baby's head, and she just like the baby slides across the floor of the car, and then is smushed up again, and she crushes it against the gas.
What? This is the second one, right?
I think it's the second one.
Yeah, I heard the second one's way worse.
Yeah, and in the second one, it opens with he masturbates with sandpaper. Like, he's a fuck dude. Yeah, no, we should watch Human Centipede.
Yeah, honestly. No, fuck that. Okay.
And then the other goriest one I've seen is I think it was in ABCs of Death. And it was
I never finished that, so you gotta finish that.
ABCs of Death is a fucked one, but one of the scenes in that one is, in essence, what ABCs of Death is, if you've never seen it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They take multiple, like, small screen horror film directors, and they sent each of them a letter, and each of those people needs to direct a short horror film constructed around that given letter.
I was thinking of Faces of Death. I was thinking of something else, but I know what you're talking about.
No. So that's ABCs of Death. So like you send to a director, you give them the letter like B, and then they'll be like, okay, like whatever horror this is needs to be like centered around the letter B. So like they might do like Bumblebees, Death by Bees, or Death by I don't know.
That's the first one I think I've ever seen. Where the first horror movie to ever get an X rating for something like that's the first horror movie I've ever seen get an X rating in modern days.
It's fucked up. They have some fuck shit in it. So one of the, I forgot which letter it is. It's pretty in there. Like you have to watch them. You have to get pretty good in the movie to see it. So it's a later letter. But the concept is that there's this facility that kidnaps people, and when you wake up, you're strapped to a chair, and in front of you is some form of erotic setup. So like it might be like someone like I think like you go through rounds and it gets progressive more fucked up as you go, and the goal is it's you and someone else. It's always men, and you have to jack off until you come, and whoever comes first wins. And then if you don't come first, then you die, and your death is via you're like strapped into a chair, and so there's a drill below you, and the drill gets shoved up through your bottom.
And you saw that?
Into your inside. Yeah, I watched it. I watched all of ABCs of Death. That one, it sounds bad. It is bad, but it's easier to watch than
I feel like it'd be a pretty quick scene. I feel like they wouldn't drag it on a long time.
Well, I mean, what makes it worse is that what makes it so bad is that it progressively, the thing that you're watching that you have to get off to progressively gets worse. Like at first it's like just this like hot girl like masturbating, and then as you move on, like another one is like a woman that has an amputee woman.
Ooh.
And she's like fuck yourself with her amputated leg. And then I think like the worst one at the end is like this old fat guy touching a kid on a bed.
Alright, on that note, we'll be going on to our first song. It's titled Rorif, and it's by Ajin. Enjoy.
Es das, was wir wollen. Und das, was wir nehmen. Nicht unendlich viel mehr. Das, was wir geben. Verständnislos. Fährst du mich an? Wie wird das, was wir träumen? Und das, was wir reden. Auch das, was wir leben. Auch das, was wir leben. Gedankenlos. Gräbst du dich ein? Gräbst du dich ein?
Welcome back. You were just listening to Rorif by Ogden. Up next, we got Satan's Smile by Blood God, and then we got our special event. Enjoy. Welcome back. You were just listening to Satan's Smile by Blood God. Up next, we got our special feature presentation read to you by Caitlin. It's titled The 44 Days of Hell. Quick shout out to Erica for showing me this story. This story actually had me fucked up for a long time. So, Caitlin, if you please, just start right there.
So, this takes place in Tokyo, Japan, and I'm just going to start reading. So, born November 22nd, 1972, Juko Furuta had just celebrated her 17th birthday 3 days prior. The Japanese teenager in junior, which is grade 11, attended Yashio Minami High School in Saitama Prefecture in Misato. So on November 25th.
It's not even that hard of a word, to be honest. Like, they're pretty translatable, I think. Okay, go ahead.
On November 25th, 1988, Junko, yeah, sure. Junko left school and was walking home, although some report that she was walking to her part-time after-school job, and she never made it home. She was kidnapped by a group of young men, including a 17-year-old who identified as Joe, and would be later given the surname Kamisaku. They
You're
kept
Asian.
Her captive.
You should know how to say these.
Because I am Asian in race, which I'm Filipino, which is not even Japanese, I should be able to say these words.
I mean, the languages are similar.
Shout out to racism. Big help in this episode and in Henry's lifestyle. Moving on. They kept her captive in a house owned by the parents of Kamisaku.
On
Ai's district in Tokyo. So that was the beginning of her 44 days of torture. She didn't know her abductors. She had no grudge. They had no grudge against her, and there was nothing specific that they were after. They attacked her because they could, embarking on weeks of
Do you want me to just read this?
What word is? Say that word.
Wait, where is it? Atrocities?
Atrocities because they could.
Wait, do you need me to increase
wanted
it?
to.
Do you need me to increase like the size?
Yeah.
Okay. That better?
Yeah.
Okay.
To forestall the manhunt, the kidnapping concourse
Okay, you know I'm reading this.
Into calling her mother and telling her that she had run away from home and that she was with a friend and was not in danger. He also browbeat her into posing as one of the boy's girlfriends when the parents of the house where she was being held were around. But it became clear that the parents didn't care either way, they dropped that pretext. So this is day 1, which is November 22nd, 1988, the kidnapping. Kept captive in house and posed as one of the boy's girlfriends. She was raped over 400 times in total. They forced her to call her parents and tell them that she had run away. They starved and malnutritioned, fed cockroaches to eat and urine to drink, forced to masturbate, forced to strip in front of others, burnt with cigarette lighters and set off fireworks in her ears, mouth, and vagina, foreign objects inserted into her vagina anus, including a lit light bulb. Day 11, moving forward, which is December 1st, 1988, severely beat up countless times, face held against concrete ground and jumped on, hands tied to ceiling and body used as punching bags until her damaged internal organs made blood run from her mouth. Her nose was filled with so much blood that she could only breathe through her mouth. Dumbbells dropped onto her stomach, vomited when she tried to drink water because her stomach wouldn't accept it, tried to escape and was punished by having cigarettes burned on her arms. Flammable liquid was poured onto her feet and legs and then she was lit on fire. Bottles inserted into her anuses, which caused injury. Day 20, which is December 10th, 1988. She was unable to walk properly due to severe leg burns, beat with bamboo sticks, fireworks inserted into her anus and lit, hands smashed by weights and fingernails cracked, beaten with a golf club, cigarettes inserted into her vagina and forced her to drink her own urine as they laughed, beaten with an iron rod repeatedly. In the winter, they forced her outside to sleep on the balcony. Skewers of grilled chicken inserted into her vagina and anus, causing her to bleed, and yet she almost escaped. One time she had reached the telephone, but one of the boys caught her just in time and ended the call for help. They punished her by taunting her with candle flames and finally dousing her legs in lighter fluid. And then set her on fire as punishment for trying to run away. She went into convulsions. The boys would later say that they found out that she was faking the seizures, and they set her on fire again and then put it out, and she fucking survived. And there's the pictures depicted. And then on day 30, she had hot wax dripped onto her face. Her eyelids were burned by cigarette lighters, stabbed with skewing needles in the chest area. Her left nipple was destroyed and cut off with pliers. A hot light bulb was inserted into her vagina again. She was heavily bleeding from the vagina due to scissor insertions. She was unable to urinate properly. Injuries were so severe that it took over an hour for her to crawl downstairs to use the bathroom. Eardrums were severely damaged, and there was extreme reduction in her brain size. By day 40, she was begging her torturers to just kill her and get it over with. On January 1st of 1989, Junko greets the New Year's Day alone, body mutilated, unable to move from the ground. On day 44, January 4th, 1989, the 4 boys beat her mutilated body with an iron barbell, that using a loss at the game of Mahjong as a pretext. She is profusely bleeding from her mouth and nose, and they put a candle's flame in her face and eyes. Then lighter fluid was poured into her legs, arms, face, and stomach, and she was then again lit on fire. This final torture lasted for a time of 2 hours. Junko died later that day in pain and alone. Nothing could compare 44 days of suffering that she had went through. Less than 24 hours later, on January 5th, 1988, the killers hid her body in a 55-gallon drum, then filled it with concrete. They disposed of the drum in some tracted of reclaimed land in Kodo, Tokyo. When her mother heard the news and details of what happened to her daughter, she passed out. She had to undergo a psychiatric outpatient treatment. According to the statement from the trial, the 4 of them raped her, beat her, forced foreign objects into her, including iron rods, into her vagina, made her drink her own urine and was fed cockroaches, lit fireworks in her anus and set them off, forced her to masturbate, cut off her nipple with pliers, dropped dumbbells on her stomach, and burned her with cigarettes and lighters. One of the burnings was punishment after the attempt to call the police. At one point, her injuries were so severe that, according to one of the boys, it took more than an hour for her to have to crawl downstairs to use the bathroom. They also related that possibly 100 different people knew that she had been imprisoned there, but it was not clear if this means they visited the house at different times when she was imprisoned there, or they themselves either raped or abused her. When the boys refused to let her leave, she begged them on several occasions to kill her and get it over with. 3 of the boys' identities were sealed by the court because of their age, because they were minors, even though they were still tried as adults. They pled guilty to the reduced charge of committing bodily injury that resulted in death, instead of the original charge of straight-up murder. Joe, the main person that was behind all this, was released in August of 1999, and nearly 5 years later was arrested again and served 7 years for assaulting a jealous love rival. And according to others who know him and spent time with him in prison, he had been bragging about what he had done to her. By 2004, he was already released from prison for Juko's horrific murder and allegedly renewed his contracts with the underworld and was in trouble with the law again. He was arrested for assaulting a 27-year-old acquaintance, upset that a woman in his life might be involved with the person he assaulted is Usono. Usono might be involved with Usono. He tracked down the man, beat him, shoved him into his trunk, drove him to his mother's bar, and continued to beat him. During the 4-hour beating, he allegedly threatened to kill the man, telling him that he'd killed before and that he knew how to get away with it. During his trial, he admitted to assaulting, but denied that he ever referred to any other previous murders or had threatened Isono.
Wait, prosecutors, how did he get off so early again for the first time?
The first time?
Yeah.
He served some years for it. He served 7 I said it. I don't know.
Yeah, but it didn't, even then it wasn't that long though.
Yeah, by the time it was 1999 he was released, and all this happened in like 80 something. So 88. This happened in 88, and he was let go. He was free by 2004.
What the fuck?
So
I've heard of like people who committed murders, but they weren't nearly as fucking bad, and then they got life in prison.
Yeah, I know it's fucked up. So then, during his trial, prosecutors wanted him to spend another 7 years in prison, but they got a conviction and the sentence they got both the conviction and sentence that they wanted. And since then, again, he's been released. Oh my God. So he's still out there. He literally is out there living a fucking life, and he's killed and tortured so many people.
Do you want to know who's really pretty? Wonder Girl. She's like a producer. I think she's like really pretty though.
We're recording right now.
Like look at her Instagram, dude. Look at this. You don't think this girl's pretty?
We're recording right now.
Are we? All right. Thank you, Kaylin, for that little special Halloween treat.
Link in the bio.
Link in bio. Damn. I thought that story was actually going to last way longer than it would. Okay, well, our next song is "Killing You Softly" by Satanasia. Satanasia. Enjoy. Hey, welcome back. You were just listening to Killing You Softly by Satanasia. So, here at Alaska National News, we've realized that we have yet to discuss any news, even in general, not even from Alaska. So today we're going to make that up to you by reading off some Alaskan news, as well as some weather too, so that way you guys can be double prepared. So right now it looks pretty chill in terms of weather. In terms of temperature, you guys are going to be hovering around the mid. This is in Anchorage, by the way. You guys are going to be hovering around the mid 20s to low 30s. So you haven't got too much to worry about that. However, just be aware that around 3 a.m., you guys will go from a 0% chance of rain to a 2% chance of rain, which is very cautious that you guys need to look out for. Just a heads up. In terms of news, we have a couple stories. Snow blankets in Anchorage, Alaska are making for slick morning driving. This is from the Alaskan Dispatch. Yeah, it's going to look pretty snowy, so be sure you guys watch out over there in Anchorage. Put that lighter away. And then also, some other news in crime news. An adoptive mother accused of abusing children in an Anchorage hillside home is sentenced to 6 years after the child charges have been filed. The woman's name was Anya James. So yeah, that's pretty sick, dude.
That's pretty sick, dude. Good for you, dude.
Good for you. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. This episode was shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought the story was going to be really long, actually. But anyways, you guys will see us next week. And yeah, it's probably not going to be... It'll be decently exciting. We'll have Miles back. Hopefully.
No, Caitlin back. I'm Miles.
Caitlin. Anyways, have a good week, guys. We'll see you later. That's not... It's still recording.